Good evening, friends and family, and thank you for coming to another night with Behind Black Business, sponsored by Repair, Restore, and Grow Black Communities. And if you're wondering who this young lady is sitting next to me, this is Mom's Mabey, Shirley Whitmore, our local comedian. And Shirley, I want to thank you for taking the time and spending all day with me to make this podcast happen.
Well, you're welcome, honey. And listen, when she say all day, I mean all day. I had a date with a young man. I had to break that date with the
Oh
young
no.
man. So you know this must be really important. And I'm supposed to go on my honeymoon
Oh,
in about 15 minutes. I can't even go on my honeymoon. Well, anyhow, I'm gonna finish this, and then I'm gonna go on my honeymoon, and then tomorrow I'm gonna have my date with that young man.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. Well, hey, you have a great time. You have a great time. Shirley, she's our local comedian here in Chicago, and we're going to be talking to Shirley tonight. So this is going to be a wonderful conversation. As you know, Repair, Restore, and Grow Black Communities, we're a nonprofit foundation, and we came together to put effort towards helping our people to increase their awareness of Black businesses here in Chicago. And we have many, many, many Black businesses. We have many talented people in our community, like Shirley Whitmore here, that are out here doing some wonderful things. It's just for some reason, family, we're just not connecting the dots like we need to be. So we bring you this podcast every Wednesday night. Our board members, Doris Lewis and Harvey Yarbrough, Trevion Cannon, have stepped in to help make this happen every week. There's a lot of work that goes behind this and finances. So, but this is important. This is our way of doing something and not just having all of these negative conversations that we have about what's going on in the Black community, and especially here in the Chicago area. We feel that in supporting the Black businesses can help circulate dollars in the community because one, they're more likely to hire Black people. They're more likely to give Black entrepreneurs opportunities. They serve as mentors when our inspiring or aspiring entrepreneurs and young children come into a Black business and they see Black people owning a business. This is encouraging and enlightening to them. And our Black businesses are more likely to contribute to causes in the community. And unfortunately, as we say every week, this has not been the case. We have so many people who have come into our communities and have set up businesses and give nothing back. And when I say nothing, I mean nothing. And that is why our communities, partially why they're in the condition that they're in. There's so much that needs to be done. Everybody can play a role, and this is the role that we have chosen to play. So that's why we provide this podcast every Wednesday night. We are supporters of our Black owned bookstores. How many Black bookstores did we once have here in Chicago? 22. We were down to 2. Now we have a resurgence of Black bookstores here in the Chicago area. And so we feature a Black bookstore on our website every month. And if you want to know where the other Black bookstores are, go to rrgbc.org. We have them all listed on there. This month, our featured bookstore is Afriware. Afriware and Sister Nzinga, who is actually located in Maywood at 1701 South First Avenue in that big Eisenhower Tower when you come off of First Avenue. That's where she's located. But she's got tentacles all over Chicago. Sister Nzinga's always working with other events here in Chicago. She's worked with Trinity Church, So we consider her a part of the Chicago family, and she is our bookstore of the month. And we go another step further and we give a book away every month. Why? Our history is being erased, family. We need to be reading more and we need to broaden our horizons in terms of what we are reading. Okay. And so we don't just give any kind of books away. Last month, one of our subscribers, Mr. Burton, in North Carolina, he won one of Claude Anderson's books, Powernomics. And in Powernomics, Claude Anderson has a strategy for developing communities. He has a whole series of books. So, congratulations to Mr. Burton. This month, the book of the month is Journey of My Soul. Now, we support the Southside Community Federal Credit Union, and Greg Brown, who is the CEO and president of the Southside Community Credit, uh, Southside Community Federal Credit Union. Um, he's a poet laureate. He's been writing poems since he was 4 years old, and this is a book that he has compiled. Journey to My Soul talks about life, courage, passion, money, love, health, and family. And it's a beautiful read of poetry. And so this is the book that we're giving away for the month of July. All you have to do is go to rrgbc.org, subscribe, and you can become eligible to win this book. Now, speaking of the Southside Community Federal Credit Union, they are a Black-owned financial institution. And our guest here tonight performed at an event that the Southside Community Federal Credit Union sponsored for Juneteenth. And if you weren't there, you missed it. It was a wonderful performance, a wonderful compilation of conversations. He had a panel discussion. And the Southside Community Federal Credit Union, they came into existence for the reason a lot of our businesses came into existence, because we couldn't get the services and resources that we needed from the institutions that we have here in this city, and namely many of our banks. They weren't giving loans. And so the Southside Community Federal Credit Unions, they're giving personal loans, they're giving mortgage loans, car loans, and financial literacy classes free of charge on Saturdays. In order for a bank to thrive, they have to have people opening up accounts. And that's how they're able to thrive. So please go to Southside Community Federal Credit Union, located at 55th and Wentworth in the shopping mall, and open up an account. You know, invest some monies into an institution that's going to give back to you. All right, just like you invest your dollars, into stocks, you're looking for a return. But when you invest money into Black businesses, there's a return factor, and that's what we want you to keep in mind. Also, going back to our books, we do still have our petition on the table to get contracts for our Black bookstores. We want the public schools and the Chicago libraries to give contracts to our Black bookstores. We had Brother Yoel on our podcast, who said if they could just get 10% of the business from the books that the Chicago Public Schools purchase, that would give a tremendous boost to our Black bookstores. So please go to Save Black Bookstores Chicago at change.org. Save Black Bookstores Chicago at change.org and sign the petition. And please go to rrgbc.org, where we have an online store, and your purchases help us to continue our efforts. And also, you can make donations. Okay? So, thank you for coming tonight. And we have a special guest, Shirley Whitmore, um, known as Mom's Mabey, right?
Yes.
Shirley, I want you to tell us about who you are, because many people I know, I guess because of my age, I remember Mom's Mabey, Mom's Mabey, rather. And I remember some of the other comedians, but I do remember her. And so when I saw you there, it just really brought back memories and really touched my heart. And so I want people to you to introduce yourself to the family right now.
Well, how you doing, family? I'm glad to be part of your family. And yeah, I do Mom's Maybe. Now, the original comedian was Mom's Mabey with an L. But let me tell you something. I dropped the L because when I make my second million, don't want her ass coming around talking about I want some.
Okay.
That's why I go by Mom's Maybe.
Okay.
But the same thing that she always said, I always say, I don't like no old men.
Oh my goodness.
Ain't nothing no old man can do for mom. The only thing an old man can do for me is to bring me a message from a young man.
Oh my goodness, my goodness. That is one thing I do remember. I do remember about her talking about the old man.
Right,
Absolutely.
right. I know a message
Absolutely.
from me. Let me tell you something, Miss Denise. I'd rather pay a young man's way from Chicago to New York City than to tell an old man the distance.
Oh my goodness. Well,
I
I'm
know.
gonna have to ask you a question about that a little bit later on. How you all got on that, how you and Mom's Mabley got on that page. But Shirley, are you originally from Chicago?
No, I was actually born in Winchester, Kentucky, but
Oh,
I was brought to Chicago when I was 5 months old, and I've been here ever since.
wow. Wow. Since you was 5 years old. You came
Five
up
months.
5 months. Oh, wow.
I wasn't even walking yet.
Okay. So did you all come in on the south side or did you come in on the west side of Chicago?
On the south side, Bronzeville.
Bronze. Oh, you came in where everything was happening.
Yeah, they didn't call it Brownsville. I don't know what they called it then, but it wasn't Brownsville. But Brownsville sounds good, and Brownsville still. It was on 47th and Wabash, and that whole area is still up. It's still up. It has not gone down.
Okay.
It's still up.
And Shirley, how long have you been a comedian? Would you say?
Well, let me say this. If you use the broad term comedian to me, make people laugh,
Mm-hmm.
oh,
All your life.
little kid making people laugh. I had eczema on my neck, and I wake up in the morning and my neck will be bleeding from scratching it with the brush because it is.
Okay.
And the kids at school will call me fried neck and butter neck, but
Oh,
they ask me to read to copy off my paper.
oh.
I'm in second grade, tutoring kids older than me. I'm telling you,
So you were smart.
I was so girl, please, and they would make me cry because they call me these names. And the girl that my mama paid to take me to school said to Farron School, said, listen, if before they call you a butterneck, you call yourself a butterneck. So then
Mhm.
they say, let me look at your paper. I said, you don't want to look at no butterneck paper.
So you always been making people laugh. Always
Always
make
make them laugh.
always taking it and turning it into a positive.
And nowadays they say turning lemons into lemonade.
Oh my goodness.
Negatives coming your way, just look at it and then figure out how you can flip it. And when you flip it, whoever sent it is gonna be smacked in the face by it.
Wow.
Use it for your benefit. Whatever, I don't care what it is. You can flip stuff for your benefit. All you gotta do is try.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so to answer your question, even in grade school, I was doing stuff funny. To
Okay.
get, I was the only child. I didn't have no brothers and sisters to help me.
Okay.
So I had to fend for myself. And
Yeah.
This is the way I fended from. I could out talk, I'll read, I'll think most people,
Okay.
kids, and that's what I use for my benefit. And
Wow.
then in high school, at DuSable High School, we go Panthers. At DuSable High School, I was on the writing team. We wrote plays. We produced plays. It was amazing. And again, I would make people laugh. In fact, we wrote the hijinks in my senior year. The teachers had always been writing the hijinks in the spring. In my class of 59, June 59, we wrote it. And I had to I had to play a prostitute.
Okay.
So you're talking about a virgin playing a prostitute. And
Oh,
my mama had just made her transition. And I did it. And I made people laugh right when they were supposed to laugh. I did. And Captain Diet, you may remember Captain
yes, Captain Diet.
Diet. Yeah, Walter E. Diet.
Mm-hmm.
And Dyer made an announcement at the end and said he made me stand forward and told them my mother had just made, well, he said died because that's what we said in those days. And he wanted to give me tribute for making people laugh. And that's when it really hit me. Hey, I can make people laugh.
Wow. So
So
this was in what grade?
12th grade,
12th grade. Okay.
59. So to answer your question, I would say I started doing jokes, really doing jokes in 59 in this play. And I love plays, so I'm still doing it.
Okay. So you were in the entertainment industry. You
Right,
since a child.
right. And at church, my church had a broadcast.
Uh-huh.
And I think I was about 11. I was one of the announcers. And baby, I thought I was just as good as that grown woman that was that was my
Oh,
boss. In fact, I thought I was better than she was.
wow.
It's a matter of whatever you're doing, do the best you can do and have confidence in yourself. If
Absolutely.
somebody else you gotta have confidence in yourself.
Absolutely. This
Play,
look at this business person talking to you. You know, listen to what we do. Look at how we give back.
yeah,
See?
yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful information. What inspired you to become mom's maybe when you went into your professional career as far as being a comedian?
Okay, I had 7 characters that I did already. Like I worked for public aid, so I did them at the public aid Christmas parties and people's houses and what like that. 7 characters. And can I tell you about my favorite?
Sure.
My favorite was Madam Tsetse Fly, like in biology, TSE, TSE.
Uh-huh.
Tsetse Fly was small then, wearing a size 5. And Madam Tsetse Fly wore combat boots, real combat boots from the army, and different socks. She had a little mini skirt on with tights under it, a great big old straw hat with the price tag like mini pearl.
Okay.
She was a ballerina.
Oh, wow.
Did that wherever I was the venue. I did it all around the room. Madam Tixie I didn't smile. I just kicked, I twirled, and it was hilarious. And
Oh,
the last time I did it, I was so tired when I finished. I went in the dressing room, I laid on the floor with my tongue hanging out, and I vowed, I told God, 17 white men and 32 angels that I would never do it again.
no more Miss Tinksy Fly.
No more Miss Teaching Fly. I was so tired I didn't
Oh,
know what to do. But um, our choir, I go to Christ Universal Temple, and I was in the choir, and our choir director, Bob Mays, knew I did comedy. I also did a Minnie Pearl with the tag. I did. I'll be coming round the mountain when we come. Like
okay.
so, he knew that. So we had an annual convention at Christ Universal Temple. We would go downtown to I think it's called the Radisson on Michigan and the Lake River, and we would. It was always here, Panorama to POT. So um, the choir would hold forth in a big gala, and Bob would put together the ink spots, the temps, different people.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Pride, we had one guy that did Charlie Pride. And so he asked me one night after choir rehearsal if I knew Miles Mabey because he knew I did comedy. And I said, yes. He
Mm-hmm.
said, can you do Miles Mabey? I said, sure, because I ain't never said I couldn't do nothing.
Okay.
No, even on the job, if you got a degree in whatever, they going to still teach you the way they want you to do it. So I said,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can do Miles Mabey.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I want you to do 7 minutes. I said, 7 minutes? Them old singers get more than 7 minutes. Girl, I didn't know how long 7 minutes is when you, it's a long time. But I called a friend of mine named Rock, who was a DJ, CTA bus driver, and I knew he had her record. So how long ago was it? I don't know exactly, but we taped it on cassettes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Remember cassettes? That's
Yes.
we taped her jokes on. I still have them. We taped them. I learned them. And then my girlfriend Shirley Wall's brother um, had just come here, and he is a person that does impressions.
Mm-hmm.
And he taught me how to drop my voice down to here.
Okay.
And then I borrowed clothes from friends who were a little larger than me, and that's how I started. Now, this what outfit I have now. Quentin D. Alexander made it for me.
Oh.
Yeah, he made it for me and brought it here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my pocketbook.
There's your pocketbook. That's right.
And this is the pocketbook where I had a $1.5 million.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Okay. And working on your second, right?
that's right. That's
Wow.
how I got started doing moms.
Okay.
And I just want to say one more thing. When I stepped to the door when he introduced me, it was in the grand ballroom.
Mm-hmm.
And girl, that stage was about 5 miles from
Mm,
me. I said, oh my God, how am I going to get up on that stage? Because you can't take forever to do your entrance. But
okay.
I did.
Okay.
Ran in running and waving.
Uh-huh.
Hear people say, that's Shirley, because it was a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
I still run. I'm 81 and a half, and I still run.
Oh my goodness.
Even if I'm in your backyard, Miss Denise, when
Uh-huh.
I get through changing clothes in your house or I come dressed, I'm gonna run. When they introduce, I'm gonna run in waving. I still and that's how I exit.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Because that's how Mom's Maybelline would come in.
that's how she comes in.
Amen.
Mom
Running.
and running. And
Wow.
I let people know how old I am to give them encouragement. That
Absolutely.
you not have as much health as you want,
Mm-hmm.
not have as much health as you used to have,
That's
but you
right.
got some health.
That's right.
You may not be able to run as fast or shoot the ball like you used to. Do what you can do. See,
That's
I
right.
do a lot of nursing homes. I do a lot of senior buildings because they're the ones that remember Mom's Mabley. They're the ones that pushed her up to the top.
Right.
So
Right.
I do a lot of them and reminding them of do what you can do.
That's right. That's right. You know, so many people think, well, families, for those of you who have just come in, this is Shirley Whitmore. She is our local, wonderful local comedian here in Chicago who does her comedy uh, about Mabley. But she is Mom's Mabey. Okay. And we're talking to her tonight. And you know, as you're talking, you think about so many people that retire and they feel like, well, once you retire, you're supposed to stop and not do nothing. But that's your best time, based on all the earlier conversations we had, to take all of that experience, all of that wisdom, all of that patience and caring and take it to another level. You know, maybe you're not going to keep doing the job like you said you were a social worker. Okay, done that, but now you're taking it into another area, and you got the energy and you got the mind to do it. So retirement does not mean going somewhere and sitting down.
No, a retirement means uh pre-retirement. Pre-retirement means you might get tired, but before you get tired, what
That's,
you gonna do?
that's right.
You have to do something.
That's right.
Life is full of energy.
Mm-hmm.
That energy, you got up every morning, whether you wanted to or not, and went to that job, whether you wanted to or not. Now you're doing it for you.
That's right.
Doing it for you. So you get up out of that bed, do whatever you do, hit that door. If you don't do nothing but walk to the corner and walk back.
That's
I
right.
used to tell people I walk every day.
Mm-hmm.
I go to the mailbox, carry my little letter. And when I get to the mailbox, I say, oops, left my letter, and I walk back. Now, that got me to the mailbox. It
Okay.
a block away, it might be 2 blocks away. Now, people that know mom from back in the day, you know that joke. I haven't told that joke in over 20 years. It just hit me, but I would go to the mailbox, left my letter, because I didn't have no really had no letter to mail, but that
Mm-hmm.
the energy and the purpose of walking to that mailbox.
That's right.
You
That's
got to get out of that house.
that's right. That's
Same old stale air. Put
that's
your clothes on and get out. Get
right. And
out.
appreciate the journey.
Exactly.
Enjoy the journey.
Exactly.
Like, cause you don't know who you're gonna meet at that mailbox. You might meet that young man at the mailbox, right?
That's what I'm talking about. And you know what I tell them now when they real fine?
Uh-huh.
I say, baby, you so fine. I think I'm gonna take you home to my grandmother. And
Uh,
they fall out when I say that.
wow. You
Yeah.
know, I was listening to some other comedians talk about Mom's Maybe, and they talked about how she opened the door, for so many other comedians. And so I want to talk about her because she was the first, black woman, doing this stand up comedy. So we could talk to us about Mom's Mabley.
Mom's Mabey was the first female stand-up comic, black, white, polka dot, or any other color. The first female to get up on that stage telling jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Very first one. She was out there with Count Basie, Duke Ellington, Ella Fitzgerald, Butterbeans, and Susie Pygmy Markham. She was out there 40 years before the next female got out there telling jokes.
Wow.
She was invited to the White House with every single president that there was.
Mm-hmm.
She was even made an ambassador to another country. And speaking of the president, I just wish that she had been here when 46 minus 1 was in the White House.
Mm.
She had been when 46 minus 1 was in the hospital. I wouldn't have to worry about my Social Security.
Oh my goodness. So
So
they
she,
messed up the Social Security, huh?
that's right, they done messed it up. Talking about
Mm-hmm.
stimulus check. I want no stimulus check. I want my real check. The FICA. They took it out of my check all these years.
Mm-hmm.
And buying another meal of food for my kids with that
Mm-hmm.
FICA. Now
Oh,
they gonna take it back. Boy, I'm telling you, I ain't never demonstrated ever. But I'm gonna walk that line if they try to mess with my Social Security.
I know that's right. And one thing, the seniors will get out and march. They will come out and vote. They will come out and march. They will make some noise.
I
So
want you to come
they
on your
they're messing with the wrong people.
whatever you gotta come on, wheelchair, whatever you gotta come on, bring your homemaker with you. Whatever you gotta come on, come on. I don't know why my picture went out, but it did.
That's
Can you
okay.
still hear me?
Yeah, I still hear you.
Talking about break the camera. I didn't just break the camera, I just broke the whole computer.
Oh no.
3.6 minus 1 did that because he was mad because I was talking about in bed.
Mm. Well, listen, what was her real name? Mom's Mabley.
Uh huh. Her real name was Loretta Mary Aiken, Aiten,
Okay.
real name.
And where was she from now?
Well, she was born in 1894 in
Wow.
Brevard, North Carolina, and she didn't make her transition until May 23rd of 1975 in White Plains, New York. Ain't that something?
And now she started in the 20s, right? Her
Yeah,
career, no, her career stand,
1919.
huh?
Her career, you mean?
Uh-huh.
From 1919 to 1975.
Wow.
She had a show 2 weeks before she made her transition.
Oh my goodness.
And she did.
My
That girl
goodness.
was bad. That girl was bad.
So how did she get into comedy?
You
Remember?
know, I don't really know exactly how she got into it, but I'll say this. If if you look at the life of a lot of comedians, they went through some kind of little trauma,
Mm-hmm.
and to bring them back, bring them back, bring them back, they started doing stuff that make them feel good, make them laugh. Cause you see, daughter, laughter is healing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How you feel if you start
That's right. That's right.
Woo! If you start laughing, it's gonna make you feel better, even if it ain't no real laugh. Just start laughing. And this is what I want to tell your audience. If you wake up feeling sort of rough, go get a hand mirror or your compact or go in the bathroom and look in the medicine cabinet. At the
Mm-hmm.
front of the medicine cabinet, there's a mirror, right? So just stand in front of this mirror and look at it. And
Okay.
that's the funniest thing you can look at and just start laughing.
Wow. You know, they talk about laughter, they talk about comedy and how you said makes people feel better. You know, I have read it's a good painkiller, relieves stress and depression, and it strengthens the heart and helps to ward off diseases with a more positive approach to life, you know. And you know, people go through so much in their lives, and Black people just have an extra cloak of oppression that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And if we go back into our history, you know, that burden was
It
quite
was.
heavy. And so we, you know, laughter, you know, helped us through those hard times, you know, and
Exactly.
to, as you say earlier, to have more confidence, more strength, you know, to make it through the day. I've even seen where it says it helps tones your abdomen, you know, but you still gotta push away from the plate now, because
You can get rid of this belly.
uh-huh.
The belly is cause I just had a baby about 3 weeks ago.
Oh my goodness.
I did.
And it also is supposed to help decrease blood pressure. You know, we have high blood pressure, big in our community. So you know, it's help, like you said. You know, we need to laugh. We need that laughter. You know, it helps you to feel better and helps you to get through the day. And I know she became, I read when she became a comedian, um, she had run away a number of times, and she got with is it butter and beans, butter
Butter
beans
Susie.
and Susie, butter beans and Susie. Now who were butter beans and Susie?
I'm not exactly sure, but there was a couple. They were a married couple, and they did comedy. It was sort of like Salt and Pepper nowadays. The Salt and Pepper was out here in the 60s and 70s, and these people were out there in the 20s and 30s.
Hmm.
And it's a couple that will get together and they'll do comedy together.
Okay.
Instead of being two men doing the comedy, it was a man and a woman. And it's funny because a lot of times they would talk about their own lives and make fun of their own lives and the things that
Hmm.
they went through. And so, no doubt, they took her under their wing like she did other comedians later on,
Hmm.
showed them the ropes and helped them to get gigs and helped them to learn the craft.
Now that's something she did a lot, helping other entertainers, right?
She
That's
did.
why
That's
they call her. You said that's why they call her moms.
right. She was older than most. She was the first female stand-up comic. So, because she was out there 40 years before the next female got out there telling jokes.
Hmm.
Black, white, polka dot, any other color. And
Hmm.
so she knew the ropes and they listened to her. In fact, she let them stay with her. She fed them. Whatever these people needed in the business, moms gave it to them. Because when you coming out there as a vanguard, when you coming out there standing on your own two big feet, doing stuff, you need somebody to help you to stand up.
That's right.
And
That's
that's
right.
what moms did. She helped them.
So she didn't just pave the way, but she also guided, you know,
Exactly.
I'm sure, and mentored,
Yes.
and gave support where it
Yeah.
was needed.
Yeah.
And we need more mentoring today. We need more people who have made it or who are, even while you're making it,
Yeah.
you are helping other people
Right.
along the way.
Right. And one thing I want to say, these people that are being helped need to listen.
That's
These
right.
young people nowadays don't want to listen. They
Mhm.
want to do what they want to do. They don't want to. How you think the world is still standing if it wasn't for the rest of us that kept it standing?
That's right.
You got to get yourself together so you can keep the world standing for the two generations behind you.
That's right.
You gotta do, but you gotta listen to people.
That's
And
right.
the older generation gotta have patience enough to talk to the young people to help them. They
That's
need help. Some people want to hear, like a lot of people. I hear the young people. They come to moms and they say, "I want to do comedy."
mm-hmm.
Well, I listen to Harold Okoro Johnson, and I founded the ETA Theater
Mm-hmm.
in South Chicago. And he had classes, and I took his classes. They had classes at Second City. They're classes that you can take. Sometimes uh, YMCA's and park districts have classes. You got to look up the classes. And they may have drama at your high school, but you just got to do it so you can get the confidence to stand up there in front of people and do it.
Mm-hmm.
And the people got to don't be heckling these people when they trying to get up there telling jokes.
That's right.
Heckling them,
That's right.
trying to get your 15 seconds of fame on national TV.
Well, they did that at the Apollo Theater. When people would come, you either do or die when you come on that stage. And she went through, I want to get this right again, uh,
Butter Beans and
Butter
Susie.
Beans and Susie, and then they took her through the vaudeville, and then she went through the Chitlin circuit, which a lot of entertainers did what they called the Chitlin circuit. What is the Chitlin circuit?
The Chitlin Circuit was a bunch of theaters all around the country where black people could work
Okay,
because a lot of the white theaters would not let black people work.
okay,
The colored people could not work there. And even if they got a job, they couldn't stay there. They had to go somewhere else to spend the night. But that's what the Chitlin Circuit. I got a list. Let me find my list.
okay.
On the circuit in Chicago, we had the Regal Theater, which was on 47th and South Parkway, and we had Club de Lisa,
Okay.
and the Rialto was one of them. In Harlem, they had the Apollo Theater. In
Mhm.
Washington D.C., they had the Howard Theater. They had one in Cincinnati, and in Atlanta, they had the Royal Peacock. In Atlantic City, they had I can't read my own. Oh, the Harlem Club. I couldn't read
Okay.
handwriting, but there were clubs all over the country where black people could work
Mm-hmm.
and make a living. It wasn't a whole lot of money, but they could hone their craft and get experience, and people would
Okay.
do it. And eventually they started making records with
Sure.
For the y'all don't know what a record is, it went around like this. Y'all
Yes, yes,
don't know
yes.
what a record is. But they could do that.
Hmm.
And the chitlin, that was the chitlin circuit.
Okay.
Now, when they went to, especially down south, they may work in a hotel and make the white people laugh, but they couldn't stay the night in that hotel.
Hmm.
So there was what they called the green book, the color green book. And the green book had a list of names and addresses in each town where they could stay with the colored people.
Wow.
And the colored people would feed them and let them spend the night. If they didn't have no money, they didn't have to pay. Because sometimes these people, they would do, they would do their show and they wouldn't even pay them, or wouldn't pay them right. And once you make somebody laugh, you can't take that laugh back.
That's right.
It was a shame. They still doing it.
And some people just entertained for a meal.
That's right. That's right. That's,
Hmm. Absolutely.
and sometimes that's all they could do to get a meal because they didn't know nothing else.
Hmm.
They
Hmm.
didn't know how to shoe a horse or build a building. They didn't know nothing else, but they knew show business. They knew how to make people laugh. They knew how to tap dance. They knew how to sing or play a musical instrument. That was their craft. They didn't know all this other stuff.
Well, so many times you hear our older entertainers say they had to be able to do it all. And I guess, especially coming through that vaudeville line, you had to, if you were a singer, you still had to be able to dance, you know.
Right.
And,
And work the backstage.
uh huh.
Even now, if you in a play, you might be in the play on stage in front of the audience, and then 30 minutes later, you back there handing props to people.
Okay.
So it's still going on because the producer doesn't necessarily have the means, money, to pay somebody to do just one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you still need to know a lot of different stuff in order to in order to be successful on that stage. Yes, they had to do a lot of stuff.
And that's called honing in on your craft. You know, so
That,
many people, they want to do one thing, you know, and not understanding, learning all aspects of
right,
business, you know,
right,
makes you better
right.
what you are doing. It helps you in terms of your growth, you know, depending on what you might want to do later on down the road. You understand all aspects.
All of them. And
Of,
it makes you invincible.
yes.
Whenever I worked in an office, I learned everything.
Mm-hmm.
Learned everything.
Mm-hmm.
If that person over on that desk was absent, I said, I know how to do that. I could step in. They couldn't get rid of me because I knew how to do everything that was in that office, baby. I
There
couldn't,
you go.
but I knew how to do everything.
Okay. Yes, indeed. So our young people out there, I hope you're listening
I hope they listen.
this valuable information, you know, because that's this is how you're going to be successful,
Right,
you know. And if somebody's gone down the path and they're telling you what to look for, you know, and where the potholes are, you know, you need to, as you say, listen. You
right.
need to pay attention.
Pay attention.
One other thing I wanted to ask about Mom's Mabley. What is it about these young men? Because she always talking about young men. That's in all of her skits.
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna let you know. Don't tell nobody.
Uh-oh.
Moms was married to an old man once.
Oh.
You know, she said she don't like no old man. Let me tell you what. Cause I was married to this old man one time. Do you know that old man had? Let me tell you. Back in the day, your mama and your papa picked who you was to like and who you was to love, even who you was to marry.
Wow.
Can you imagine your mom and papa picking who you supposed to spend the rest of your days with? And there was this old man in my hometown, 85 years old. And my daddy liked him. Do you know my daddy made me marry that old man?
Mm,
I was
mm,
just a young girl, 14 going on 15, and just as cute as I can be.
mm.
I had that long hair, and that was before HIV.
Oh my
You know
goodness.
what HIV is?
Yes.
What is
What is, no,
HIV?
no, no, you tell me.
Hair I bought. It was before HIV. And my daddy made me marry that old man. Look, let me tell you something, Mr. Lee. That old man was old, ugly,
Oh
and
my
puny.
goodness.
That man was so old, he was older than his mother.
Oh my goodness.
Santa Claus looked like his son. When God said, let there be light, he said, I'll flick the switch, sir. That's how old that man was.
Hmm.
And puny, that man was so puny, his shadow weighed more than he did.
Oh my goodness.
He got tired just picking his tooth, and he hammered one. And that one tooth was stuck up here right in the middle of his head. I figured like this. He should have had a job in a bakery shop, snapping holes in donuts.
Oh, so she was married to an old man, and she didn't want to.
That's what her daddy, my daddy made me marry that old man.
Mm,
And
mm, mm.
and look, you know when you take a bath and you get ready to get out, you pull the plug,
Uh-huh.
and then the water does this. So when he pulled the plug and the water started doing this to go down, he said, "Come here, girl, come here, girl." And I had to hold him like this to keep him from going down that drain.
Oh no.
And that's how puny he was.
Oh my goodness.
Ugly. That
Oh,
old man was ugly. I
oh
mean,
my.
that old man was ugly.
Uh, uh,
He
uh.
put the U in ugly.
Oh my
And
goodness.
then what my daddy made. Wait a minute, let me tell you something.
Uh-oh.
That old man had nerve enough to be mean to me.
Oh no.
And they come in there one night and knock me down for nothing. I said, what you hit me for? He said, for GP. See, I knowed he was lying because I hadn't seen General Prince for about 12 years. And when I got out the hospital, I hit him in the head with a lamp.
uh,
Do you know that old man had nerve enough to sue me and took me before Judge Mathis?
Judge Mathis.
Yeah, Judge Mathis took me before Judge Mathis said, lady, what you hit that man in the head with that lamp for? I said, Judge, Your Honor, I couldn't pick up that table to save my life. Lord, let him get away with hitting me. That's the reason I don't like no old men. But I'm like,
Oh my goodness. That was a loaded question right
that
there.
was the question.
Oh my goodness.
Man, and here's my pocketbook. I got $1.5 million in my pocketbook for
Mm-hmm.
the right young man.
Mm, mm, mm.
It's on my link card.
On your
I don't mind giving my PIN number to the right young man. Now
Okay.
let me explain stuff to you. I got this $1.5 million because I'm an old lady. I ain't got no teeth, and I know if I take up a young man's time, I got to give him some money, and I ain't got no problems with that. So I know that you got a daughter, and I don't know if you got any grandsons or not. But I'm just saying, if I'm ever at your show, America, please bring your great grandson so I can give him this $1.5 million.
Wow, boy, it's gonna be a whole bunch of grandsons at your next
I
concert.
hope so. I hope so. Variety is the spice of life, baby.
Well, I tell you, what would you say are the good qualities of a comedian? Just to be able to make people laugh. What are good qualities that people have to look for, or develop in themselves?
Okay, one thing you have to like yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta like yourself, and you gotta give of yourself. You got to know that when you on that stage or in that backyard or in that basement or in that living room, wherever you are, you got to say, I'm gonna give the best that I got. to these people because they either paid to come there or they didn't.
Mhm.
They be getting paid or you're not. It doesn't matter. You want to give them the best because you want them to go leaving out of there feeling better than they did when they came in. Because
Mhm.
the comedian brings laughter. Laughter brings health. Health brings good feelings. So you gotta, I don't care what went on that day, you gotta forget about that because you gotta give. G-I-G. God is
Absolutely.
good.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
you gotta remember that. I just made that one up.
Well, you know, Mom's Mabley, she told a lot of stories about real life experiences. She addressed the political issues that were going on at the time, relationships. Um, that's where she got a lot of her uh, stories from. Where do you derive yours from?
Well, I tell a lot of mom's jokes, but mom's was fantastic, but she wasn't always clean. Now she wasn't like these new people nowadays. They disrespect women, they talk up under women's clothes. She didn't do that, but she got down. But I don't. I
Okay.
don't. I'm clean. I'm a Christian comedian. Started doing it in front of my minister, Johnny Coleman, and I act like Johnny's in my audience everywhere I go. If I'm in your backyard, I'm gonna act like Johnny's. When I was in the parking lot for the Southside Community Federal Credit Union, I acted like Johnny was sitting out there. I was clean.
Mm-hmm.
Always gonna be clean. So where I get my material is her jokes. I clean them up. Some of them I can't even do. And then I do a lot of them from the people out there.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of them. Like one time, this couple was sitting so close together, it looked like one person had two heads on their shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept looking and looking. I said, dang, that's two people. I thought that was one person with two heads, and I just because I like a cordless mic. I don't want a
Okay.
cord because I move around.
Uh-huh.
That's what I do. I talk about people. I talk about the young people. And then afterwards I go to. I didn't embarrass you, did I? I go back to them.
Mm-hmm.
When especially when I do that 1.5 million, the oldest person in the world will raise his hand, telling me he's young.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Youngest person. But I get it from what I see out there. I get it from what I bring the audience into my act,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I think I think the majority of people appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Some people,
Sure.
you know, I got to say this because I had this epiphany. I had this idea quite
Epiphany.
a few years ago. There's some people, I want you to pay attention, everybody. There's some people in this world, and nobody knows they're here.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows they're here. The mom and pop, if they still living, they don't know where their child is, and grandmama, whoever. Nobody knows they're here. So I speak to people.
Mm-hmm.
I speak to them. I may go through my audience and just put my hand on their shoulder and silently say, God bless you.
Okay.
So I get my material to answer your question. I get my material from the audience, what
Okay.
I see in the audience, and then sometimes I make it up. It's surely making up
Okay.
stuff. As long as it's clean and as long as it's funny.
Okay. And I'm losing you because I'm losing you in your hat. I can't see you.
I can't see me neither. My screen is black.
Just pull your hat up. So
Okay,
okay,
so
there
you
you
can see
go.
my face.
I can see you now.
I can't see my own face. My screen
That's
went black.
okay. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Just sit back and I see you fine.
Okay, fine. That's called faith. I got
Absolutely.
faith that you still on the other side of my.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here. I'm here. So so what is comedy? What is comedy to you? How would you define it?
I would define comedy as laughing and enjoying life. Let
Mhm.
me tell you something. I wake up at 6 o'clock every morning and I look at the classic cartoons. My favorite is the Road Runner. Beep, beep.
Oh, oh wow!
Look at,
I didn't know
at
that still came on.
yeah, duh. I can't say the channel because they ain't paying me to say it. But it comes on. It's from 6 to 7 every morning on Saturday from 6 to 9.
Hmm.
It's on free TV. You don't have to pay for it. But the Road Running, Donald Duck, Daffy Duck, Popeye, all of them, all the classic cartoons are there. And guess what? When I was working, I lived across the street from my job and was late every morning.
Wow!
I couldn't wake up at 6, but I wake up at 6 now. I
Wow!
may fall back to sleep before the cartoons go on, but I start my day laughing. So
Okay.
that's what comedy means to me. How
Okay.
you start your day is how your day goes because you put it in your consciousness. I'm gonna have a good day. I'm gonna be laughing. I'm gonna be enjoying life. I don't care what went on the day before. I don't care what went on that night before. You make a decision. I'm gonna start my day laughing. Most people tell us to say a prayer. Good, fine. Say the prayer.
That's
Thank
right.
God for waking up, and then just start laughing.
That's right. That's
If you think about something your grandmama told you, your uncle, somebody, Richard Pryor, somebody, just laugh
mm.
because laughter is healing.
Yes.
Laughter is healing people. You may feel bad, oh, whoa, whoa. And if you think of something funny and start laughing, you'll feel better. I think it's in the endorphin, something is some
Yes.
kind of medical term,
Yes.
but you'll feel better, I promise
Enhances the functioning in the brain. Absolutely.
you. Okay,
Absolutely. And the mood, and and how you feel. Absolutely. And you
right.
mentioned some other comedian here. Who were some of your favorite comedians that you have listened to over the years? I'll say, let's say, who are some of the older, and then let's come forward and tell us who are some of your. Uh,
Okay, I like Sinbad. Sinbad is clean. See, I like the clean comedians that can tell a constructive joke.
okay.
I don't like the ones that talk up under women's clothes and disrespect women. I don't like that. I
Hmm.
like Sinbad. I like Eddie Murphy. Salt and Pepper. As I said earlier, they were a married couple. They were out here. I was on the show with them a lot of times in people's backyards. It wasn't no
Wow.
formal place. Bill Cosby. How clean can you get? Richard Pryor wasn't always clean, but that man was funny.
He was funny. Yes,
Funny.
he was. Yes, he was.
Yes, he was. And now today you got BLT. That BLT don't never stop talking. He can talk for 15 to 20 minutes and not even take a breath.
Wow.
And you laughing the
Hmm.
whole 15 to 20 minutes. I've been on a lot of shows with him. Damon Williams used to have this comedy show. And I was on that comedy show with him. This is back in the day too. He's young, but he was still back in the day. And Flip Wilson was funny. And when he did Geraldine, it was awesome. And that was
Oh my goodness.
the first time I saw a man impersonate a woman on TV. I think that was.
Uh-huh.
And he had to have courage back in that day to do that.
That's right.
It
That's
took
right.
courage for him to talk about Geraldine and do. Of course, it don't take that much courage today because the world has evolved. But back in the day, and those are the people that I like. And then there was
He Flip Wilson, he was a phenomenon, because if you go back and look at any of his old shows, everybody, black and white, that were famous, were on his show.
yeah.
Whether it was a musical entertainer, I saw Aretha Franklin when she was younger, and the Temptations, and
Mm-hmm.
then you had Dean Martin, and the Smothers Brothers. I mean, everybody
Everybody.
be on Flip Wilson's show. He was such a phenomenon.
he was, and he was not afraid to put other comedians on his show.
Mm-hmm.
He was not afraid to put other entertainers on his show. He was the black um, stepping stone, just
Mm-hmm.
like who was that man you just said? Goodness, my man just flipped on me. The white one
The Smothers Brothers.
and the other one.
Who else did I say?
Oh, Lord.
Oh God,
Now
I
they
forgot.
know. Now they know. I've been faking it all the time. Like,
Oh, did I say Dean Martin? I know Dean Martin was on his show. Everybody was on his show.
right.
Everybody wanted to be on his show. White comedians, black comedians, white entertainers, black entertainers. You know, it was all about being funny.
It was all about being funny. And on the TV, you had to be clean and funny.
That's right.
It's
That's
not
right.
like nowadays you don't have to be clean and funny. But
Right.
back in the day, can you see me now?
Yes, I can see you fine.
See now.
I can see you.
This is
Don't
the
touch.
new.
Don't touch nothing now.
I ain't been touching nothing. I ain't been touching nothing. And this
Oh,
is a
okay.
new computer. I don't know what's wrong with this computer. It's a new one.
It's got a mind of its own.
Girl, it's on crack cocaine. I'm telling you. My phone is on crack cocaine. Let me tell you about my phone. Every now and then, my phone will say, y'all ain't talking about nothing and cut us off. It will. It just cut us off. I'm tired of hearing that mess. Cut us off. It won't come back on. It gets ready to. And they
Yeah,
call it the me phone. Not me. What's that word? iPhone.
that's right.
Ain't
That's
worth
right. Yeah,
ain't
cause
worth
half the time you're talking to yourself, right?
yourself. And you better hope you understand what you're saying. Talking. They're the only one listening.
So Shirley, well, first of all, who is your audience? Who do you primarily entertain here around in Chicago? And do you stay in the Chicago area with
I
your
stay in the ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I stay in Chicago. Been here all my life.
Okay.
My main audience
No,
is,
what I meant, my question was related to where you perform.
I know,
Okay.
the main people are the older people. I'm 81 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And people my age are the ones that kept Mom's Mabey alive. So I go to nursing homes, I go to senior buildings, I go to senior functions, I go to 80th birthday parties, 90th birthday parties, 95th birthday parties, things like this. But I also go into the school. I
Mm-hmm.
also go into 26 in California.
Okay.
They love moms at 26 in California. My church goes in there for the men and in the spirit, which is a recovery home for ladies that are recovering from addiction. They go in there for the ladies. I go with them. I go in there with Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson went in to 26 in California for 47 years, and I went in there on Christmas Day, and I went in there for 6 years with him on Christmas Day,
Mm-hmm.
and I love it. So my main audience is anybody, really the older people, but anybody that wants to hear some good, clean comedy. But I love doing it for the older people because the older people are the forgotten people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everybody know about it.
Mm-hmm.
They just, but moms does. Moms
Okay.
does because I'm their age or older.
Well, I
And
know one of Mom's Mabley's best albums I think she did is when she went to Sing Sing,
yes,
right?
yes, yes. It
And
was,
you've done some of that work too.
yeah, yeah, 26 in California. It's a Cook County jail, the largest jail in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, is probably filled. But that's where I go, and the pandemic stopped us from going in there because
Mm-hmm.
it's like a teaching dish.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody was just in there, you couldn't get away.
Mm-hmm.
Even some of the staff made their transition coming
Okay.
in and out of there, so we didn't go back. We haven't started back yet, but hopefully. We will start. I love it. I love it. And they love moms. And let me tell you something.
Okay.
It surprised me. The first time a bunch of ladies was standing over to the side and they told Pam Fraser, who was the director of In the Spirit, they wanted me to come over there and pray with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. And I pray with them all the time. I pray with different groups that they ask, even individuals are asking me to pray for them or pray for the caretaker of their children, whatever. And I do it
Mm-hmm.
because God is in everything.
Absolutely.
And I mention God in my act. And
Mm-hmm.
if they don't want me to mention God, then don't hire me
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because I gotta put God first in everything I do.
You
And
know, one of we said that Mom's Mabley sang, she did comedy, and she danced as well. But one of the songs that I had the opportunity to hear her sing was
hmm
the Abraham, Martin, and John song.
yeah,
Such a beautiful, spiritual, her heart, just imbued in the music and the words that she sang
yeah,
as a comedian.
yeah. And she was a civil rights activist.
Mm-hmm.
She was back there in the day, back in the 60s and the late 50s, and she talked about it. She used the stage as her platform,
Mm-hmm.
and she talked about it. And so I don't do a lot of that. I talk about 46 minus one. I only do one joke because I don't know if any CIA people, let's see,
Ah.
but she was an activist. She was fantastic. Mom's Mabley was totally fantastic, and I loved her. Let me tell you, don't tell my mama. I sneaked into the Regal Theater,
Mm.
7th and South Parkway. They call it King Drive now. I paid to get in, but I mean, I sneaked from home.
Mm-hmm.
My mama probably thought I was at the library. Oh, let me say it correctly. Library. That's
Library.
the group.
There
See,
you go.
I
Oh.
probably thought I was there, but I went to see Mom's Mabley. I was so impressed. I never thought I would be on the stage doing her.
That never crossed your mind.
Not at that point. I was in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
not at that point. And I was so thankful that Whoopi Goldberg later on
Mm-hmm.
did an excellent documentary about the life of Mom's Mabley. So I'm
Yes, you did.
encouraging
Yes.
everybody to get that documentary. I don't know how you get it.
Yeah,
YouTube.
it's online. People can get it on YouTube, but I mean, you have to subscribe. You got to get one of the or have a subscription to one of those channels. But yeah, it's online. People can go online.
Okay. I
Mhm.
don't know what you just said, but okay.
They gotta pay. They gotta pay to see it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, oh wow. I'm trying to think if I paid. I went to the Gene Siskel Theater when it first
Yeah.
came out, and I saw it, and I could feel Mom's.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing Mom's at the time. I could feel her presence there, and I want people to show their young people Mom's Mabley so they can know their history. We need to keep our culture alive.
That's
We
right.
have lost our culture.
That's
It's a travesty. Your grandmother, my grandmother, our great grandparents would talk to us and tell us what they went through and what happened,
right.
and we listened.
Mm-hmm.
The young people ain't listening.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't listening. I ain't gonna say what they doing because I
Mm-hmm.
don't really know. But whatever they doing, they not listening to us.
And just as important, there, if you don't say it, you live a certain life, and that is what they can see. And you never know who's looking, what's going to spark someone. Just like you saw Mom's Mabley, and you never thought that you would be doing what she's doing, but she was already mentoring you. She was already imparting
Yeah.
that knowledge, that spirit, that information into you. and
and
you didn't even know it. And so it's more about doing than talking.
right. And she was so funny. That
Yes,
was
it
the thing.
was.
The
Yes,
woman was hilarious. She was funny. She it was just amazing the things that she would say and the things that she would do. It was just
and
I still love to listen to her.
she was the oldest person with a top 40 hit.
Yeah.
The
And
oldest person.
right.
Yeah.
And she made her transition in 1975 and
Mm-hmm.
did a show 2 weeks before she passed. She was still doing it.
Wow.
She did it. She did her comedy all of her adult life. It's just wonderful. It was just wonderful. She did
So
for 56 years. She did comedy.
so Shirley, what are some major venues that you have performed at?
Okay, I performed at McCormick Place. I've been at under the Picasso downtown. I've been at the Black Ensemble Theater, ETA Theater, the Legacy Theater. I've made a couple of short films that I was in.
Mm-hmm. What's the name of the films?
One was the Pullman Porter story on
Oh,
on 100 and something west on
sure,
117th
sure,
area. I
sure.
I played the grandmother in that short film. Shady Manor, I was in that as well. And I have been at the DuSable Museum. I've been at the main library downtown. I've done the Kennedy King College, um, um, Malcolm X College. I've done a lot of different churches.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
wherever.
About how many venues do you think you have under your belt?
1.5 million.
Oh my goodness.
No, really, I tried to count them up, and I would say an easy 50
Uh-huh.
because I go in the park. I'm just if it's a park, it might be wherever people are having their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
may be a park. It might be their backyard. It might be their basement.
You've done more than 50. You underestimating. When you go there, I can already tell you. You probably over 100.
Right.
You've done quite a few.
I
And
have.
you're doing it, so you're not keeping up. You're not keeping track, but you've done more than 50.
You're right. You're right. I was trying to be conservative.
Modest.
That's it. Modest.
Wow, wow. That's and Mom's Mabley did some movies too. I found out she did one with Paul Robeson, The Emperor,
Mm-hmm.
Amazing Grace.
Yeah.
So she's played, and I've seen her in some movies. I was like, oh, there's Mom's Mabley.
Yeah. She was always good. And I'm done. I'm open late. The last one I opened for the stylistics.
Oh wow. Okay.
I
Okay.
have opened for Jerry Butler. I work with
Oh.
Lasso. I
Uh-huh.
work with Teresa Griffin. I've done the Showboat. That's when I was with Jerry Butler.
Okay.
So I'm open for a lot of people. I work with Loretta Lee. I work with Ellis Foster, who was in The Undertaker, and Quentin D. Alexander. I work with the Nashua Dance Corps.
Oh wow.
And go ahead.
I said Najwa. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
very famous dance troupe here in Chicago.
yeah.
Najwa and Montu.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Hmm.
And Jazz in the Alley. I think
Oh, okay.
y'all
Okay.
better call me. They ain't called me this year, but
Okay.
usually every year I'm with Jazz in the Alley,
Uh-huh.
and Loretta Lee has an event where she has people portray different artists,
Mm-hmm.
and so in fact, she had a show this past weekend. I did 3 shows Saturday, and she had one at Golden Gate Park.
Okay.
She had moms out there. and BLT, and um, she had Rico as Michael Jackson.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Well, I mean, you have done a lot,
I've done.
and you still have more to do, and so if somebody wanted to, contact you and hire you to come and perform at one of their venues or their events that they're having, how can they get in contact with you?
Okay, so I have my business card all over the world. And they can go to a lot of businesses that's laying out there. But I will even give my telephone. Can I give my telephone
You
now?
can give whatever you want.
Okay, 773-480-5772.
Hmm.
Repeating, 773-480-5772. And if you think that I'm scared of any creditors calling me, all my bills have zero balances.
And you have a website also, right? And
Web,
an email.
yeah, emails. I gotta look up the website. Oh, it's Shirley. What is it? Oh dear, what's the website? Anyhow, the email is shirleymoms at sbcglobal.net.
Okay.
sbcglobal.net. It's old fashioned.
Okay.
And the website is
I'll help you with that. www.shirleymomsmaybe.com. That's
oh,
moms with a S and maybe Mabey.
right. Thank you.
Yeah, that's your website. Okay. So if you want to have some laughter in any of your venues, please give moms a call. It'll be a very special treat. I promise you. I promise you.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
I'm going to let you have some closing remarks here, or however you want to end this wonderful interview, because it's been a wonderful journey here talking to you.
I appreciate you so much. I had a ball. I had a ball talking to you too. And oh, you know what? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I gotta find my. I know what I got to do. I always give a homework assignment
Oh, okay.
for my last 3 years. I give a homework assignment at the end of every year. What this is the homework assignment. First, I ask a question. Do you agree with mom that if people had peace of mind, they would not be doing what they're doing? Do
Yes,
you?
I do. Yes, I do.
So your homework assignment is to pray for peace every single day,
Hmm.
because I believe if you pray for peace, you're going to have peace all over the world. So at 9 o'clock every morning, I pray for peace. Well, sometimes it's not at 9 o'clock. It might be 9:15, or it might be 9:30.
Hmm.
Oh man, it might even be 11 o'clock after Price is Right goes off. But I do pray for peace every day.
Hmm.
Whenever you think about praying for peace, do it. Pray for peace. Somebody somewhere is praying for peace with you, because I've been giving out this homework assignment for about 3 years.
Okay.
So whenever you pray for peace, somebody somewhere is praying at the same time. Because somewhere in that book, it says if a couple of people are doing the same thing round about the same time, it's going to happen. Now, Miss Denise, are you a Bible scholar?
I won't say I'm a scholar.
Okay, well, do you have an idea of what part of the Bible I just quoted?
No, I don't.
Okay, somewhere in that book it says, somebody out here in the audience, I want you to say it. It says, if a couple of people are doing the same thing, I will be in the midst of you, or something
Right.
like that, right? You remember that?
I remember that.
So that's what I'm saying. If a couple of people doing the same thing round about the same time, God will be in the midst. So we can bring peace all over the world. Starts with peace of mind, peace in the home, peace on the job, peace on the block, peace in the neighborhood, in the country. So that's your homework assignment. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to pray for peace every day, whenever you think about it. It don't matter. And but wait a minute. I got to find my valet ticket. Wait a minute, Miss Denise. Why are you laughing? I came to your studio having my BMW, and I parked in on your block in your lot of your studio, and this young man came up to me and held his hand out and said he wanted to valet my car. And I gave him the keys to my BMW. And now you laughing. You didn't have to valet.
No.
What about the other people that come to this studio? They didn't valet.
No. Park on the
Oh,
street.
no. Please. Oh, no, Lord. I done give the keys to my BMW to somebody.
Oh no.
It was a young man, and he was so cute.
Oh no.
He held his hand out. I gave him the keys to my BMW. You think I'm in trouble?
Oh goodness. You should have gave him your purse.
No, I got $1.5 million in there. I
Oh.
gave him the keys to my BMW. So, oh Lord, so that means if I can't catch it with that young man, I'm gonna be BMW, and that's black moms walking.
Oh my goodness.
God bless you. Thank you for having me on your show. And thank
Absolutely.
you, audience, and be sure you support. Give me the name of your organization again.
Ma'am, repair, restore, and grow Black communities. Our website is rrgbc.org. Please subscribe so you can become eligible to win our book of the month, which is Greg Brown, Journey of My Soul. And also, you can go to our website and purchase from our store and donate. And please come back next week where we'll have another wonderful guest. But this has been Mom's Maybe, and she's given us so much knowledge, and I've had so much laughter. So I'm feeling good.
I'm feeling good too. I'm feeling good.
Absolutely. So I want to thank you for coming. Okay.
And thank you for having me. I
All
appreciate
right.
it.
And you just keep on doing what you're doing.